We are climbing this weekend, but we're climbing a crag that's so new that we're climbing with the guys that are currently, they're still bolting it now, so it hasn't been published yet, so we can't film where we're climbing because we can't advertise where we're climbing because it hasn't been advertised yet. You know, it's still a little bit loose. It's not entirely finished. It's a little bit risky. Dusty. Yeah, quite dusty. I got a lot of dirt down my neck. But I was just thinking about how important it is to have cheerleaders in your life. Let's go for a run and talk about that. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's nice to be able to run regularly again, and my distance is close to what it was earlier this year. Yeah, it's a nice crag. Some very, very steep sections with big holds, great for a thug like me, and some slabby bits, also great for a delicate technical climber like me. Great fun, but they're still working on it, so it'll be a number of weeks before it's published, I think. So these guys have basically found an area that they're developing, so they're cleaning the routes, pulling off all the loose stuff, working out what might be climbable, placing bolts because there aren't many cracks on it, so it's not treadable. And of course the easier routes they've ticked, but there are some harder routes, so they want to make sure that they've climbed those so they don't get poached by other people who come and climb on the crag. You know, it's important when you put the work in, you want to be the first ascensionist, right? You want to get your name in the guidebook, although these guys have got their names against hundreds of routes in the guidebook. John, I've got the old green guidebook. John's name's in the guidebook in the 70s. He's 77 this year, and he's still putting up new routes. Amazing. Isn't this beautiful? Oh, get a chance to think. Yeah, so cheerleaders. When you're doing something difficult or new, and it might be unusual for the group of friends that you're in, or the community that you're in, or even your family, it might be unusual, so uncomfortable for them, and you're very likely to come across naysayers. Most people will probably be naysayers, as in they say, no, you don't want to do that, or you don't want to do it like that, or that's not going to work, or it's too hard, or you don't want to do this, you want to do this, because everybody's an expert, right? And I find that that's more common than the cheerleader, the person that says, good for you, go for it, yeah, you can do this. Even if they recognise also it's hard, but they're cheering you along. I mean, you think about running, right? A lot of people think running is a daft idea. People die of heart attacks during races. It's bad for your knees. It's not bad for your knees. Runners have healthier knees than non-runners. Runners as a whole are healthier than non-runners. I think that's probably fairly obvious, right? But people will use anecdotes to support their ideas and beliefs, won't they? Yeah, of course, when you run a race, if anybody's run a race, you'll know that the people lining the streets, lining the course, are cheering you on. They're shouting at you, and it makes such a difference. It lifts you up, because a lot of running is mental, so that support does make you feel better, does lift you up, pushes you towards the finish. It's so important, and one of the reasons I love climbing is because if you're bouldering, particularly if you're sport climbing as well, there are often other people at the crag, and sport climbing and bouldering, you're often doing routes and moves that are difficult, so people you've never met before at the bottom of the crag will all be cheering on, they'll all be cheerleading whoever's maybe having a difficult time, because you get a bit scared, or the move gets a bit hard, or you start to get a bit pumped, you don't know if you should go on or not, and there are always so many random words of encouragement. Go on, go for it, the next hold is good, You're almost there. Go on, pull, pull, push, push. It's a natural thing in climbing. We all cheer each other on because we all know what it's like being in that situation. And those little words of encouragement, they do help. They make a difference. And they often spur you on, get you through that difficult bit you were umming and ahhing about, and you succeed. You get onto the easy bit and you feel great because you completed the route. I love climbing, so I love climbing when it's quiet, but climbing with other people tends to be good fun. Downhill through the muddy bit. It's the same if you're doing something difficult academically or scholarly, right? So if you're studying anatomy because you want to go into a healthcare profession, there'll be lots of naysayers. Doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. They might be right, doesn't matter. You need to find your cheerleader, find somebody who pushes you along, and listen to that cheerleader, use that cheerleader. I think you're more likely to succeed if you listen to your cheerleaders than if you listen to your naysayers. Right? Do you agree? That makes sense, right? I mean, you never know whether you're going to succeed or not until you've done it. Nobody knows if you're going to succeed or not until you've tried your best. And that's what the most interesting challenges are. An honest not knowing whether you're going to succeed or not. And your cheerleaders can help you. It's June, it's an exam time, so I'm mindful of this. But also artists, right? Being an artist is really difficult. Hey, I said some months ago that I was going to sketch every day and learn to draw. I can draw. Who knew? I'm really pleased. I really enjoy sketching, and I think my sketches are good, and my cheerleaders tell me that too. Really nice. Talking of failure, I haven't failed yet, but you saw me opening the HoloLens last week, which basically appeared on my desk because of one of my cheerleaders, right? I thought Sam would be able to do something with this. So the HoloLens is a little bit old. When it first came out, teaching anatomy with it was seen as one of its big uses. I found there were 3 anatomy apps still existing on the HoloLens Microsoft store. Contacted all 3 of them. That took a while because things have moved around, working out how to contact them. I've heard back from 1, and I've got a meeting this week, I think, with a guy in Australia. So it's not looking promising, but I've probably got 4 of them, I think. I'm thinking about how I might use them in teaching, but I'm trying. But that's it. Find your cheerleader and listen to them. The other thing is, I've noticed that we don't really notice that we do, is that we often slip into the naysayer role. Maybe it's easier to be a naysayer. We don't really notice we're doing it. We don't really realise the effects of us becoming naysayers. So maybe we should think about being cheerleaders too. Anyway, ooh, I think I'm ready to increase my mileage again. Excellent.